Well, Ryan, we're almost 1 year. Well, we actually are 1 year from when things around us and in Iowa and the church just, well, shut down completely. I mean, and so it's been a long, weird year.
Yeah.
But we know that things are starting to change. A lot of our people are starting to get the vaccine, especially from the classic service. And we're starting to hear people talk about coming back, getting back. And we wanted to kind of talk about that today.
Yeah, because it's exciting. Some of you we have not seen for a year. Some people have stopped in the office to maybe drop off different things, but some of you, we just miss seeing your faces, and we're so looking forward to it. But there's all this conversation about, I can't wait to get back, to get back to how it was. But we can't, like you've said, we can't invent a time machine. We're not going back to March of 2020.
Right. And in the last year, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed for us as a church. And some of those things are just very practical things, like where we're shooting this video. Because we're doing a lot more video stuff, we created a studio within the church, and that's going to stay because we know that going back or getting back means a new way of doing ministry, which means a lot of digital things going forward. So we're going to need to keep this space active throughout the week whenever we need to stop and pop in and record videos. Because to be fair, this is convenient. We come into the studio, we turn on a few things, we hit record, and within just a few minutes, we have a video that we can produce and get on the internet. So
other little things that have changed in the last year, that if you haven't been in the service, we've had a pretty steady, like 50 to 60 people. They're used to these changes now, but for many of you, we realize you're going to be like, wow, we don't have donuts anymore. We have pre-packaged snacks with coffee and tea.
But it took us a long time even to get back to that, because it was shared space, no touching the same things. But that's probably going to stay around for a while, the prepackaged, primarily because we found it's a lot easier and less time consuming than donuts. And so we're able to do that going forward.
Yeah, we don't pass an offering plate anymore. And when you know that a lot of people watch digitally, passing the offering plate is a lot of dead time for somebody to watch the pastor stand up.
Just like this. That's pretty boring. And that was only a brief moment of what it would be like. But even on top of that, so many of you made the pivot to start giving online. So we don't see a large amount of checks coming in on Sunday. There'll be a box, a lock box at the back of both worship centers that you can drop it into. But we're not going back to passing the offering plate as a part of that worship service.
Yeah. And so as we describe even these brief little things, most of them are little. Some of them might be big. Some of you have never worshiped in the chapel before.
We
were ready to worship that first week of COVID. So we've had it for a year. For us, we're like, oh, that's old hat. But we understand. For some of you, that's going to be a huge change when you walk into the building. And so we just want you to prepare and recognize.
Be prepared.
A lot of things have changed.
And we want you to know, be prepared for that, because it's not going to look like it did when you left. And that's okay. Because the world is not the same as it was when you left. And so we are having to find a new way of doing church. We're having to find a new way of being church in community. And that has forced us as staff and as elders and leaders in the church to really evaluate and break down everything to say, what does that mean for us as a church in 2021 and beyond? And of course, anybody that knows me knows I spend a little bit of time looking back, but the majority of the time we have to spend saying, okay, so what does our future look like? Because if all we're doing is saying, well, we've got to get back to the way it was, we're going to find our church very empty very soon, because the world has left us and the world is not there anymore.
So we are very excited about these changes that are, the way that we're looking forward to ministry being more of a digital presence, allowing people to grow. And we'll have a lot more to talk about that in the coming weeks. We've got this is a teaser. So now you can be curious and want to ask us, what are you talking about? But we're excited. We feel like while COVID, we've had to strip back a lot because of it. It's made us reevaluate. What did we need? What can we let go of? What can we embrace new? And we feel like we are positioned better for the future than we ever might have gotten to if we didn't have this hard stop to say, evaluate everything.
Absolutely.